Welcome back to Politics Nation. It hasn't even been a year since the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. And Friday, we saw yet another significant rollback to reproductive rights nationwide. A Trump-appointed federal judge in Texas has ordered the FDA to suspend its approval of a key abortion pill. The Biden administration is planning to appeal the ruling, and the political battle lines over abortion are being drawn yet again. Joining me now is Lauren Leder, CEO and co-founder of All In Together. Lauren, let's talk about what a blow this latest court ruling is to women seeking to make their own reproductive decisions. After the Dobbs decision, one of the first actions the Biden administration was to make this abortion pill and others more freely available, even by mail. Now that option is about to be taken away in a matter of days for all women everywhere. What happened to the conservatives who claimed people in liberal states had nothing to worry about after the reversal of Roe versus Wade?
Absolutely everything about this decision is infuriating on every level because, of course, the premise of the reversal of Roe, written by Alito, was that it should return abortion to the democratic process. And in fact, what's happened is we're seeing that abortion rights are being stripped from a completely undemocratic process. Not only are we seeing states where a majority of Americans in those states and nationwide don't want to see additional restrictions getting passed against the will of the people, then you have a single Trump-appointed judge, one 45-year-old man who is making a decision, a very ideological decision, if you read the way he writes the decision, on behalf of millions of women. And not only is he rolling back the healthcare access for millions, he's also undermining the federal agency of the Food and Drug Administration, which has for decades had the authority to make decisions about what is and is not safe. The ruling and the way it's written is totally ideological. Everything about it is broken. And by the way, the chaos that this is injecting into American life is just incalculable.
The Biden administration plans to challenge the ruling out of Texas, and the matter is likely headed to the Supreme Court, where conservatives have a commanding majority. Some Democrats are calling on the president to defy the ruling in the meantime and use his executive powers to protect the drugs availability even before the case is heard by the Court of Appeals. That seems like a hardball tactic. Republican presidents like Trump would have had no problem using that. Should Democrats consider it?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that they should. I think that everything has to be on the table because this ruling is so fundamentally dangerous, not just for abortion access, but for everything. If you can have one judge make decisions about what medication is available to tens of millions of Americans, where's the limit? So I think there's a lot of concern about the Supreme Court on this. The way that he wrote the case is so poorly executed, citing the Comstock Act, which was an anti-vice bill that was passed, by the way, 70 years before women had the right to vote. I mean, it's so outrageous. The rationale is terrible. It's just bad law. And so there is, I think, a chance that it could actually be overruled at the Supreme Court. But in any case, the Biden administration has an obligation to fight this tooth and nail, and I think they're going to. And I know the voters want to see that. You've got overwhelming majorities of Americans who want to see abortion access protected.
Abortion appears to be a mobilizing topic for Democrats in the midterms, but voter fatigue with the issue is always a concern, especially when the Supreme Court is packed with conservatives. How do we keep voters from losing hope?
I actually don't think that this is a waning issue. If you look at the turnout in Wisconsin and the mobilization, not just of women and pro-choice voters, but of young people. Look, my view is that the 24 election really runs on two issues: gun control and abortion rights. Those will be the galvanizing issues. And as we saw in Tennessee, you've been talking about it all hour, where our rights are under attack, where Americans feel that we're going back in time, they are highly motivated. So I really don't buy the narrative that says this is not a galvanizing issue. I think it is. It will remain so. Women are the majority of the electorate. Black women are fundamental to our functioning democracy. These are constituents who show up.
Let's switch gears now to the indictment of Donald Trump. A lot of attention has been focused on the former president and the circus surrounding his arraignment last week. But you recently wrote about the woman at the center of the case, adult film star Stormy Daniels. In Politico, you say Daniels, quote, refused to do what women involved in political sex scandals have done so often, stay silent, unquote. Why is it so important that she remained vocal?
Well, I think when you look back at the history of other high-profile sex scandals, from Donna Rice and Gary Hart to Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton, the women have been raked over the coals by the media and have been treated, frankly, abominably. And most of them wound up being silent. Donna Rice didn't speak for 30 years in public after the Gary Hart incident,
Right.
10 years for Monica Lewinsky. These were women who were really silenced because they had nothing to gain by speaking out. And I think what's important about Stormy Daniels, and she's self-serving in many ways. She's profiting off of this, selling merch on her website. But fundamentally, she has refused to be silenced. And the entire indictment really is about a whole group of powerful men trying to keep her from speaking and her refusal to do that.
And to protect their political position. It wasn't, I don't think they would have tried to do anything, according to what I'm seeing of the indictment, if he wasn't running for president.
Right, and that's why it's so incredibly important that this isn't just about a sex scandal. It's not just about his personal life. This is about trying to dupe the American people
Right.
into believing that he's someone that he's not. And if you look at the sort of like post-Weinstein, Me Too world, like these are really damning characteristics. And American voters should have had the opportunity to know who he was fully, to see the evidence, to hear from her.
That's right. Lauren Leder, thank you for being with us on
Thanks,
these. Up next, my final thoughts. Stay with